and beetles in particular. If you've ever had a chance to see any anime or manga from Japan, anything that happens during the summer usually involves these great little friends. It's a really common tradition to have them, to catch them, to buy them in the stores. A big image of what summer is like here. And if you get a chance to come out here during the summer, I would strongly recommend doing something to be a part of all this, because it's just so cool. We live out in the boonies, and so we are very lucky to be able to try to catch our own. If you go out at the right time of night and you set the right baits, you can catch them. We usually mix up some banana and sake and a little bit of honey, smeared on the trees, and then if you go out late at night, you can go see if any of the bugs have come. Lots of bugs go there, but sometimes they're not bugs that are very cool. You want to try to catch the stag beetles, especially, are the most common to try to catch. There's the female and male versions, and if you get both of them, you put them in a little cage, and they sell the cages everywhere. They have them at the 100 yen store. You can buy cages, and you need the little dirt that they like, and then you need to give them the little jellies that they like to eat, and get all their little lifestyle going on there. And if you're lucky, they'll get together and make some babies and lay some eggs, and then you can keep the eggs and see if they can turn into larvae, and then, you know, kind of follow the whole process, which takes a year for them to turn into beetles again. So it's a fun thing, especially if you have kids, to try to teach them about the whole cycle of the life system of a bug. The other part to it that's kind of unique is that it's really common, especially for young boys, to collect them, and then they have fights. So they essentially kind of set, especially the males, they set the males up and they flick them to make them angry, and then they kind of battle each other out to see who's the winner. So it's sort of like a sumo or pro wrestling for bugs. and it's just a sort of an image of, you know, the perfect summer in Japan. Sadly, a lot of kids don't get to even see these guys except for on TV, or they see them in the department stores and they're way overpriced, and, you know, they can't play with them very easily. You know, earlier days when everybody had a chance to be kind of close to nature and stuff, you know, kids would spend their entire summer playing with these. So I think because of that, there's a lot of places like where I live where they feature these special camps, and all the rich city kids come out and think, oh wow, this is so cool, nature, and you know, they pay all this money to be able to catch these bugs, which are everywhere anyway. But that's sort of a common thing that you see, and it is really only for boys. You don't see very many girls participating in this, and sadly, there's like really nothing that girls are supposed to do during the summer. I was trying to figure it out. You know, what's the common thing for girls to do during the summer? There really just isn't, which is kind of strange. You know, of course, it's not against the rules for girls to play with bugs here, but the image, especially historically, is always that it's little boys who do that. So, I don't know what the girls are doing. Watching TV, listening to music, who knows? I don't know what they're doing. So, but, we have the beetles, of course, and there's lots of different kinds that are native to Japan. And then you can also sometimes get your hands on some of the fancier ones that are from all over the world that they sell in the stores. Now those are a lot more expensive, but you can buy those as well. So it's common to get those in this kind of time of year. So the other thing that you hear outside, and people don't keep these as pets, of course, are cicadas. And they're everywhere. And where we live, they're so loud. There's one tree that you walk by and it's so deafening, like literally all other sound disappears. There's just the sound of the cicadas crying. So really like ridiculous amount. And a common thing for kids to collect here is the shell of the cicada. When they shed that, a lot of people will collect those, keep them in big bags full of them, hundreds of them, you know. Oh, look at my collection of shells of cicadas. Crazy. So that's another really common thing that's part of summertime, is getting those. In the early summer, not so much now anymore, you could hear the frogs crying or singing outside, especially when we were getting out of rainy season and the rice fields were planted, all that water there, the frogs love to hang out in all that water, and they just sing like crazy. And where we live, it's really loud. A lot of people from the city come and they're like, wow, it is so loud here, because there's the cicadas, there's the frogs, and then we have all the birds. They're finally quiet. Their mating season's over, thank God. But they were just loud, crazy loud before. So all these crazy noises because we live in nature, which is nice. So I prefer those over, you know, screaming people and sirens and cars and traffic any day. So I love the city. I love going, but I think living in the country is definitely a bonus. So we have all those fun bugs to enjoy, and I'd love to hear, you know, we have beautiful butterflies, gorgeous butterflies. You can get lucky and get your hands on a caterpillar right before you can get a chance to see them go through their whole metamorphosis process. So it's a fun place to be, and you get to see a lot of things, which is neat. I know growing up in Colorado, it felt like the only thing we had were grasshoppers, and that's it, and it was kind of boring. Lots of different butterflies, lots of different things that you could see, bugs, really cool praying mantis, lots of praying mantis, lots of dragonflies, of course, tons of dragonflies. Sometimes if you go out at the right time of day when the sun's just high, they usually come out right before the sun sets. You know, it's kind of getting golden outside, and all the dragonflies come out, and they're just flying all over our backyard, and it's like, really, you can't swing your arms without running into one. There's so many of them. My daughter loves to catch them just for the fun of catching them, to say how many she could catch in 20 minutes. But they're everywhere. Like I said, the butterflies and the beetles are everywhere. Praying mantis are everywhere. We have a lot of really cool, you know, walking stick guys that are everywhere. So I think if you get a chance to play Animal Crossing and you see all those bugs that are in that game, like, really, seriously, almost all those are here. It's really cool. So I play that game too long, and then I think, oh, I'm going to sneak up and catch this bug. Doesn't quite work the same. So I would recommend going out and trying to catch them for real. But yeah, so if you have any, you know, memories as a kid of catching bugs, I know we'd catch frogs and sometimes garden snakes and stuff. You know, where I lived growing up, that was common, and grasshoppers. We'd catch grasshoppers and put them, tie them to pop ball rockets and set them off into space.